though? My scary ass gonna be right in the house during 4th of July. You give a cluck. What you talking about?
I'm a 36-year-old woman, and when I was 26, I went through a life-altering breakup. To save you some time from reading so much, I'll just sum it up. It took me about 3 years to get back into a serious relationship. So about 2 months after my breakup, some female friends invited me over to this very large, old, and beautiful house that the two of them rented for the 4th of July. When I arrived at the house, they told me that they invited a guy friend who they wanted me to meet. I had seen his picture on one of their MySpace friends list, and I commented that he was cute at some point before, but they promised there was no pressure. I was, after all, mostly still a raw and tragic mess at this point. So the guy friend arrived and we were introduced. While he was not as cute as his profile picture, he was funny and easy to talk to. Besides, I wasn't looking for anything, so whatever. I then learned that he was quite taken by how gorgeous I was. Even though he chose to tell me that he was nervous when he first met me, he said I looked like a beast, whatever that means. We hung out that night, and when he had...
What does that mean? Because beasts are not attractive. Like I'm not... Oh, my bad. What does that mean? I don't know how to take that. Like if somebody was to call me, talk about, if somebody was to say to me, hey, you look like a beast, I don't know how to take that. I don't know what you mean. I'm gonna cluck you up.
As for my number, I gave it to him because he seemed like a decent enough person. Fast forward 2 weeks or so. We've talked a little through text and instant messenger, and I've hung out with our group of mutual friends a handful of times. I make it very clear that I'm in no state to be in a relationship if he wants to try to take it there. He says he understands, but that he enjoys my company. And I said, fair enough. So one night after we've been out with our group, at our usual bars and restaurants, I agreed to go back to his place with him. We hang out and, we do our adult things. No big deal. The next morning, we're hanging out and chatting a bit before I have to head home. At some point, he says, you're a really heavy sleeper. My initial reaction is to chuckle, and I agree that I sleep like a dead person. Before I catch something sort of...
All right. I know, reacting to these horror stories, you have to pick up on things and read between the lines. I sleep like a dead person. Jesus.
In his tone that I can't put my finger on, I say, wait, what do you mean? He stumbles over his words a little and he says, I just honestly thought you were pretending to be asleep because you were making these little noises like you were enjoying yourself. I felt like someone had poured ice water down my spine and was speechless for a moment before I said, what did you do to me? He glanced at my tone and quickly said, nothing, really. I mean, once I realized you were really asleep, I stopped. He refused to elaborate on that statement, but I felt absolutely sickened. In the months following this, he would text me obsessively, send me messages on MySpace at all hours of the night, telling me things like, have fun getting laid, you cunt. Apparently, this all stemmed from his inability to understand why I didn't want to be his girlfriend or see him anymore. He started flirting with my friends in an attempt to make me jealous, and even started trying to chat up the 15-year-old sister of my best friend. Except that his flirtation devolved into him saying that he hated her because she reminded him of me. In the end, his crazy behavior only stopped when one of my friends, who he said was disgusting because she was overweight, but she had pretty eyes, she responded to him positively to his advances. Today, they're still married, as far as I know. I contacted him about 5 years ago, wanting to apologize for any pain that I might have caused him. He ended up making inappropriate comments on my Facebook pictures in the middle of the night and picking weird, petty fights with my fiance in the comments. Even though he is married to a psychiatrist, his actions made it abundantly clear that growth and rational behavior still aren't his strong suits. I now live 700 miles away from where I first met him. I moved back to my hometown 2 years ago, though. Unfortunately, I learned about a year ago that he now lives in the same state. Thinking about him still makes my skin crawl. I live in fear of him realizing that I'm a relatively short drive away. Hopefully he doesn't find me again.
I'm still on what the hell was he doing when she was asleep? Was he messing with her like sexual? Oh my God. I'm about to be sick. You deserve an ass whooping. Also, he is a toxic. I hate when I need a back scratcher. So I'm about to scratch my back with something, and I'm about to. Hopefully y'all don't see it. Y'all can kind of guess what it is by hearing it. But this is the only longest thing that I can think of to have. Hopefully I don't scratch myself. Oh, I got it. Yes. Okay. I hate when toxic ass no good niggas or nigglets, female and males, are in a relationship, or they're married, or have a fiance, or just have a partner, and you know, and everybody else knows that they are no good. They just down dirty dogs. Clucked up. They be doing some clucked up shit. But you married. What? I hate that. I hate that so much. I got the itch again. You got all that. You got all that. Who about to live right there? Who living right there? Not me. Ain't no amount of money in the world for me to live in a place like that. Hell no. I'm trying to scratch my back. Sorry. But yeah, no, you got all that.
Went forward to 2007. My best friend Katie and I worked at a small family-owned seafood restaurant in Winchester Bay, Oregon. In 2006, we were invited by the cook, a small group of regulars, to come to a bonfire on the bay to watch the fireworks with them on the 4th of July. Thinking it sounded interesting, and having no other plans, we agreed to come. Upon arrival, we find the boys drinking next to a huge fire situated in a large clearing-type strip of grass. This grassy stretch was surrounded on 3 sides with dense thickets of evergreens.
Jesus.
There was one wide, clearly defined trail that led through the trees to the water's edge and gravel parking area behind us. Being 20 years old, we weren't opposed to drinking, but we didn't know these men that well. We decided to stay sober and just enjoy the fire and the upcoming show in the sky just in case they started acting inappropriately. After chatting for a bit, the guys decided they wanted to partake in an herbal smoking session, weed. Katie and I say no thanks, and the boys head off into the woods to go smoke. Katie and I are standing alone by the fire, just vibing and enjoying the evening. Suddenly, I get this strange sensation and my eyes keep wandering to a specific area of the tree line. It's a crawling sensation which I'm trying to ignore, but I can't help myself. I just keep glancing over.
The power of a demon! Somebody trying to warn your ass.
After a minute or two, an older woman comes walking out of the trees.
Oh.
She was not on or near the trail. This tiny woman had walked through an area of this thick undergrowth in pitch black. She was short and looked frail, although it was hard to tell as she was dressed in layers of a raggedy long skirt and had several shawls or blankets wrapped around her shoulders like a human rag bag. She was hunched over and walking slowly as if she were older and her joints were bothering her. She was a little over 100 yards away and it was twilight, so I couldn't make out her face or features, just her outfit, which, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty creepy. Figuring that she was a homeless person who deserved some respect and sympathy, I tried not to stare. However, when I looked over at Katie, she was watching this woman also. The woman had a force or vibe about her that made it hard not to watch her. She gave off the feeling of a wild animal in your house. Well, you know, it's probably not too dangerous, but you keep an eye on it just in case. There was a feeling of unease that I kept trying to shake. Katie turns to me and asks if I'm seeing this. I reply yes. She's probably just a homeless person. Poor lady. Katie feels that she shouldn't look away. This validation of my misgivings is not comforting. Katie and I stand in silence, watching the woman make her slow, tottering way along the tree line to our front left. I'm still feeling bad for staring again. I'm going through all these reasons in my head that I'm an idiot and worrying about a decrepit grandmother, even if she does look like a stereotypical witch. Suddenly, the woman comes to a complete stop. Until this moment, she had been looking at the ground. She now stops, raises her head, and looks directly at us. A feeling of dread immediately hits me in the gut. My stomach drops. Her look feels malevolent, even though I still can't make out facial features in the dusk. And then, no shit, this woman raises her left arm and points straight at us while letting out the most blood-curdling screech I've ever heard in my life. I think my heart stopped beating for a split second. I will have this image in my head to this day. Right in front of her pointing finger, a silhouette of a human made what looked like a black mist, a shadow person, the first one I've ever seen. I don't know if it just appeared or it actually came from her body. I barely had time to register what I was seeing before the thing flew towards us. It moved so incredibly fast that it blurred, and it covered about 300 feet in less than 3 seconds.
God damn!
This thing passed directly between me and Katie. It was on my left and on her right. It literally blew my hair back over my shoulders on the side when it rushed past. We spent several seconds in complete shock staring at each other with the bloodless pale faces. Simultaneously, we both turned to look at the woman. She was no longer looking at us or acknowledging us in any way, but had picked up her pace and was doing a hobbling sort of run in the direction she had originally been headed, eyes on the ground. Katie and I stood in silence, each afraid that we might have just gone mad. At first, I was afraid to even ask her if she had seen that thing, but looking at her face, I knew she had seen something. She finally asked if I had seen what she just did, because she wasn't sure if it was real. We compared notes and realized that we had both witnessed the same thing. When I started freaking out about the fact that this thing had been real enough to blow my hair back, she admitted that while she did not experience her hair moving, she had seen my hair blow back as she turned her head to watch it go right in between us. I have no idea who that was or what she sent after us. It looked like a shadow person, but who knows what the hell that was. And never in my life have I ever heard of a shadow person doing a living person's bidding, and have looked into this after this experience. I've never seen her again, and I surely never want to. This experience has bothered me for years, so I brought it to the internet to find out if anyone else has ever witnessed a shadow person and a living person working together, or at least get some theories as to what the hell happened that night. I think we saw the shadow thing once more a couple nights later, but it didn't have a human shape that time, so I'm not sure if that was the same entity or not, but the timing seemed too coincidental. Please let me know what that was.
It would have all been, you would have been all been good. Y'all would have been all been good if you had the Adidas 29,000s on. Y'all would have been perfectly fine.
On July 4th, 2018, I got off work in the afternoon, and I decided that instead of trying to go downtown and do something, I was going to stay at home and watch the fireworks from my porch. The part of town I was living in at the time was situated on an uphill incline, and when I looked out my bedroom window at night, I could see a good portion of the city. At 9 p.m., the first few pops of the fireworks sounded off, and I scurried outside to watch. Unfortunately, what I thought was going to be a clear view was partially blocked by the trees that lined my street, so I decided to find another spot. My street dead ended into a major vein in the city, and if you turn left at the end of the block and walked a little ways, there was a Red Cross building with a large open parking lot. Perfect, I thought. I got to the Red Cross, and at this point, it was maybe 15 minutes into the show. I stood under a street light in the parking lot, enjoying the unobstructed view when I heard the sound of a car turning onto the road that runs parallel to this parking lot. I looked over and I saw an older mid to late 90s model Mercury or Buick of some sort driving slowly down the road. The car skidded to a stop so abruptly that I heard the tires squeal, and before I knew it, whoever was driving was pulling into the parking lot and making a direct beeline for me, and then they floored it. I turned and I ran as fast as I could across the parking lot toward a row of houses on another street on the opposite side of the lot. People were out on their front porches, and I figured the car wouldn't try to snatch me if there were potential witnesses. I ran past the people and behind a road closed sign that blocked traffic to another street that ran behind the Red Cross building. There had been heavy construction on this road all summer, and while people could drive on it, they can only get so far without running into more barriers. I looked behind me and I saw the red car stop just before the barrier and they sit for a minute, headlights shining directly at me through the large industrial sign. Just as soon as they had appeared, they did a 3-point turn and disappeared into the night. My heart was pounding from the close call, but I figured I was safe now. I could still see part of the fireworks show that was going on, so I stood in the darkness of the quiet little back neighborhood and I watched it. When it was over, the people on the porches went back inside and I started to walk home. I was walking parallel to the little cemetery that sits on this back road. When again I heard the sound of a car coming down the road. When I turned, I looked behind me. I recognized the familiar outline of the car that had chased me earlier, and I proceeded to almost piss myself. I ducked behind the closest house, hoping and praying that they didn't have some sort of motion-sensing security light that would give my position away, or that whoever lived here wouldn't come outside and catch me. I hid quickly enough that I hoped the car, which I had seen at some distance, wouldn't see where I had gone. I thought for a minute, maybe I was just being paranoid, but as they got closer, I recognized the music that they had been playing when they chased me for the first time. I heard the brakes squeal slightly as it slowed down to a crawl and then a stop. The car must have sat in front of that house for about 30 seconds, and then I heard them talking, saying that they needed to grab another one.
Oh
the boss would be mad.
Jesus.
They need to sell a few.
Oh my God.
They need some more. They need more people. They need more kids.
Oh.
And then they sped away down the road toward where the remaining construction began. The back entrance to my neighborhood was only 2 blocks away.
You know what's disturbing? Oh, the amount of kids that get abducted on a daily basis. Sex trafficking is disgusting. And I live in Georgia. I think Georgia is either the top state or one of the like the top states in sex trafficking, which is crazy. I've been in Georgia for 6 years. I've seen my fair share of I think the most sussest. I don't know if this is traffic, but the sussest shit that I've seen since I've been in Georgia is, I don't know. It's gonna take me forever to find this video, if I even have it. I was driving in the middle of the night, so the roads is clear, right? There was no traffic whatsoever. But I lied to you not. I was driving and I saw one van with no windows. The only windows that was on a van was the front, like the dash, like the front windshield. But it was a white van, no windows. And I thought, it's kind of weird. And then literally a few seconds go by, another one. It looked like it was identical, same van. And another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Like, and the license plate didn't look legit. Either they didn't have license plates, or they had license plates, but it didn't look like Georgia license plates. Man, if I can find that video, I would definitely show y'all.
I started running, and I didn't stop running until I had made it safely up to my porch stairs and to my bedroom. To this day, that scares me. Hopefully I never see these guys again.
I hope you don't see him again either. Because that really just sounds like some traffic going on. So much shit goes on these like holiday type shit. Data files. So much stuff goes on these gatherings, on these get-togethers, on these holidays, on these special events, on these special occasions. You gotta just come to your senses and be like, if clock shit goes on a Tuesday afternoon in May, what makes you think something not gonna go down during Fourth of July or Christmas or Martin Luther King Day or Father's Day or Easter? Like, I think when there's an event going on, or there's a holiday going on, or something is going on, then that's when I think you need to be on extra high alert. Cause you just being on alert. You just need to be alert every day. But if there's something specific going on, yeah, just be on alert, high alert. But yeah, keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family.